Welcome back to the Mid-Year Mitch YouTube channel. In today's episode, we're fabricating a bunch of patch panels to fix the Birdcage and the Scalped Split, so be sure to stick around. Now I'm going to start making the patch panel that fits in this area. I cut out a piece of metal and I put a 70-degree bend in it. I'm going to use the shrinker stretcher over here and I will put the shape in it to make this flat contour curve. So I have my patch all shaped up. I used the shrinker and stretcher to put this curve in it and to get it to fit the car really nice. So now I need to start tacking it in place and just get everything to line up. And I'm going to spot weld this flange, I need to make this inner structure from here to here for the passenger side. And to start off, I took my favorite cereal and cut the box up to make a template. So that's my general shape that I'm gonna cut out of steel. And then I need to use my Eastwood bead roller here. So I'm gonna put the joggle bend bead rolls on here and that will give me this shape right here. We need to recess this. I finished up the inner panel for the roof structure on the passenger side. I'm really happy with the way this turned out. This was a little bit of a puzzle to figure out, but I had to use the bead roller to get this bead started. And then it wasn't getting deep enough in this corner. I couldn't really get the bead roller back here. And then I couldn't get this depth. Well, maybe if I did like 96 million passes, I would have finally got some depth out of it, but it wasn't getting there fast enough. So I decided to get the air hammer out with just a flat tip on the end. I saw on Bitchin' Rides that they used a set of these that had like polyurethane ends on them, so I'll have to buy a set of those so that way I don't mar the metal up. But I just put it in the vise and I just went to town in this area and stretched this whole area, and I was able to get some pretty good depth on it. And now I need to continue to make, well, this little piece that goes in here and this little flange, and then I need to continue off into this direction onto the windshield. So I have this convertible piece, and instead of harvesting this, which I could totally cut this up and use it, but this is actually a nice piece and I'll use it on that blue 65 back there. It needs this more than this car does. If I set it like this, I just need pretty much from this big hole over to here on the inner structure. So I'm just gonna make a little piece that flows in there. So I fully welded the inside of this patch panel. I test fitted on the car a few times to make sure it wasn't warping after I had it tacked. And you can see there's a little bit of stick out kind of everywhere. I didn't spend a lot of time on my fitment here because I was going to weld it from the underside. And if you just give me a little bit of time with the death wheel, we'll get this thing cleaned up. May have a couple little areas I need to touch up with the welder, but we'll get this thing brought right back around. So I finished grinding and welding on this piece. I'm happy with the way it turned out. It's a rather complicated geometry, especially if you try to do it in one piece, but make it in 5 pieces turned out really nice. So if I set this in here, this is about where it's going to live. So now I just need to clamp it in place, weld it. I have all these holes drilled so I can plug weld through. Just put a little paint on the back side of this, get this welded in. Last night I finished welding up the windshield. I pulled the plug out, welded around all the seams, got the center cross member in, just have a little bit more welding to do in the front and a couple little patches to do here and there, but overall the cage is mostly done. It's holding its shape. It is nice and strong. The thing has no flex to it, no wiggle, so the car is much more rigid than it was whenever I started, so I'm happy about that. So now I just need to make a couple patches, and then I need to finish up the insides of the door to take this little bit of flop out, and we can work on skinning the body and send this thing down the road. But that's gonna do it for this video. If you enjoyed, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. I have a lot of work to do on this car. We're gonna jump back into the doors, finish those up, and we're gonna start covering this thing in fiberglass and making it look like a split window again. So I got a lot of work to do, and I'll catch you guys later.